Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jason with JWClassicVW, and welcome to the fun in the live stream. And I hope you guys are having a great Saturday, and I hope that you're hearing me okay. Let me get a thumbs up from the couch. Can you hear me okay, Mike? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear the mic okay, Cal? Turn my mic up a little bit. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right, let me know if it sounds any better. Let me know if it sounds any better. Let me see. What about right there? What do you got for audio on that one? Is it sounding better? Sounding even better? Let me know. Hey guys, what's going on out there? I'm about to jump over to the live chat so I can at least see what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, that's good.
Hello, everybody. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to see if anybody jumps in here or not.
Somebody's already on.
Hey guys. How's your Saturday going? Hi. You got too much echo on there, or does it sound okay? Does it sound all right? Oh. Hey, Brett. What's going on, buddy? What's going on, Brett? What's going on? How you doing out there, man? Doing all right? Doing okay? Yeah. Let's see. So the live chat's working there, but I'm not seeing the chat here. So hold on a second, guys.
It just takes a bit longer to load.
I've gotten a little bit of delay. We got quite a few things we're talking about today. I'm gonna let y'all kind of gather up in here, and we'll get some folks into the stream. Don't forget to hit the like down there, in the video, so it starts pushing out to the algorithm. And I appreciate you for doing it. Let me jump over on my other computer here so I don't get some crazy feedback, and so I can kind of watch what's going on. All right. Hey, Jimmy, I see you. Jay, your Doom buggy is in the shop. What's going on, man?
Hey, Jimmy, I see you. Jay.
Give me an idea what's going on with your Doom buggy. It's what happened? What happened, man? What happened? Hello there, Mark. How you guys doing? Yeah, I'm messing around with the OBS again, trying to get all of this stuff sorted out. There's quite a few things that you guys have asked about when it comes to the turbo build, and I've got a bunch of other questions, just random questions. So don't forget to jump down in the chat and put your questions in there if you have any for today. My brakes done working 2/3, 4. Your brakes don't work in 2, 3, 4 gears. It's hot in Corpus. Well, it's freaking hot in Houston too. Let me tell you what, man. The temperature has gotten turned up for sure, and summer has arrived about a month early here in Texas. So that's awesome. That's super weird. I don't understand why your brakes aren't working on your Doom buggy in different gears. So kind of give you guys a breakdown of what we're talking about today in the live stream, the live feed. First off, we're gonna go over the first oil change. We had the kind of the break-in period when it comes to Goose and the turbo build, and I took her out for a few runs, and then of course I've got her in the boost a few times, and we fixed that pinging issue, because now all I hear is the blow-off valve. Honestly, I hear the blow-off valve going off, which sounds pretty cool. Well, of course the turbo too. Whenever I get into that turbo awesomeness, when I hear that whoosh, psh, and I hear the psh, it's pretty cool. My youngest went for a ride. If you guys are paying attention to the Facebook group and Instagram, you saw that Cal went for a ride already, and that was pretty cool. And that's my youngest boy, Callan. They did work. They work in first, but Brett's saying it's hella hot in San Antonio. Man, it is super hot. There's supposed to be a car show down in Mission, Texas next weekend, and I'm kind of playing with the idea of possibly going, but I just don't think that I have all the tuning figured out with Goose yet. Plus, I got to get Goose to the tuner. I've just now kind of situated all the sensors and gotten those all worked out. Let's see. We're also going to talk about the Haltech sensors today, kind of like what we just said, getting the sensors figured out, give you an update on what's going on with that. Tire sizes. If you guys didn't know, I upped the tire size on Goose as well. We're going to talk about the dyno time, when I plan on taking Goose to the dyno, and of course I'm going to do a video of that so you guys can see some actual numbers being put down. And there's questions from you guys. Some questions I've received on the website, plus questions that I've received through the Facebook group and or just email from you guys. So let's see. Let's go back to the chat. Jay, what you got to say? Put some serious work in the Goose. Yeah, man. It sounds like it paid off threefold. Yeah, it's been a lot of work, man. A lot of work and a lot of this stuff. But you know, we all have our passions, and it's what I spend my money on. So let's go here. What do we got? Quick color. Just finished up a car show here in Central Texas today. Very cool. Very cool. Do you see lots of cool cars? I think that I heard about that car show too. Was it kind of northwest of Austin? Maybe northwest of Austin. I think I heard about that one. All right. Well, the chat's not showing up over on this side of the screen, so let me go ahead and close that down for now. Maybe I can bring it up, bring up something else. Let's see. So let's do this. You guys let me know if the audio cuts out in the chat, because I'm still working out the OBS system here. Over to the pics. Over to the pics. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to talk about the oil change. Yeah, the oil change that I did on Goose. And this is the oil that I went with. Let me kind of throw you over to the screen and let me know if you hear the audio. This is the Hot Rod Classics that Lucas makes. And there's some pretty good reviews on it. And so that's kind of like why I went with it. There's a couple other guys out there as well. And the main factor for it was this high zinc. You got that high zinc right there. All right. Mark Berry says, are your sensors safeguarding not being tuned? Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm actually running, Mark, I'm running a tune that was on it before when it was in another car. So but the Haltech is pretty smart when it comes to making sure that you don't do anything too stupid. And if it gets into a knock situation, like I have a knock sensor on there right now, so if it does hear any pinging, it cuts back the boost. It also makes sure that you can't go too crazy, you know, like it cuts the power out on you, so it's pretty nice. Did you see Hot VW? They showed a dragster that had twin turbos with a 2-stage FI, fuel injection, first set idles, and second. Wow, that sounds pretty rad. No, I did not see that yet, but I'm all about that. All about checking out Hot VW. I like Hot VWs, and you know, VW Trends has come back too, so I got to get my subscription redone for that magazine. J. Alex saying, I used Lucas also a month or so ago, just trying it out for from VR1. Yeah, I've VR1 has been my go-to, especially during the summer months here in Houston. I moved to the, what is it, 2050? The 2050 that VR1 offers. Normally I run the 1030 during like every other normal month. Then we got like half a year of just terrible heat down here, so that's when I usually switch it out. But I'm trying the Lucas out just to see how it kind of maintains its viscosity, which is like the oil breaking down inside the engine. Kind of, you know, there's some different ways you can test that. There's a viscosity tester that you can get, and I'm going to look into seeing if I can buy one of those to just see how well the oil handles. And you know, temperatures are always the first sign whether or not oil is doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is keeping your engine cool. So let's go. All right, guys, let's talk about the sensors, the Haltech sensors, and some of the stuff that that I've been dealing with. And I'm gonna switch back to screen number 1 again and show you the Haltech system in the back of the car. Right here you can see that the Haltech setup, I kind of built out, all it is another battery case or battery mount that holds down the battery. Well, I just added some shelving, or built in a shelf on this this battery side, and this is where all the computer stuff is done for the Haltech. And all my sensors, like right here on the back side, this is where where you see the rib nuts coming through, that's where my flex fuel sensor is, and that's one of the sensors that's been kind of acting wonky, and I think it's because I burnt out one of the drivers in my Haltech, which is kind of cool that the Haltech builds in multiple drivers, which, like, if you guys know what that means, let's say you get some wires crossed or you get a short in your system, the driver for that in particular sensor gets burnt out, not the entire Haltech computer ECU itself, which is pretty darn nice. So, yeah, the sensors I was having issues with was, for one, was my fuel pressure sensor was acting kind of weird, and this is kind of a story as into why I was having the pinging. And you guys were like, I must have gotten, I don't know, about 20, 30 comments on the pinging when I was going into, or trying to go into boost on Goose and the new engine. The map sensor, or your manifold absolute pressure sensor, which kind of governs boost, governs fuel delivery, governs timing when it comes to the Haltech. Whenever you get into the Haltech setup, the ESP software, and you start tuning out to the Haltech, you have to have a reference for timing, reference for fuel, and a reference for boost. And the original mapping, like I told you guys, this mapping for this ECU originally came from the guy that I bought the engine from, Daryl. And Daryl is had this running for like 5 years, awesome. And then I got it, and of course I'm jacking it up as I figure out the process and figure things out. Well, in the map, he had an external map set up, which allowed him to have more boost if he wanted to. Because the internal map sensor that is built into the Haltech, let me show you real quick, guys. Back to screen number 1. This internal map that's down here, this little hose that you see down there, this is set to like, I think the max that you can get is 28 pounds of boost. And I'm gonna get back to the comments in a second, guys. But this let me finish up this thought on the Haltech. This will allow you to get up to 28 pounds of boost. I think it's 2 bar, 3 bar. And the external will let you get more. I think up to like 60 pounds of boost you can get, which I don't plan on ever having that amount of boost. Well, never say never. But all you have to do is get an external map sensor that will hook up in there, and then you do a little bit of switching around on the ECU and the ESP software, and then you're good to go. Well, the problem is my map or my ECU and my map for the configuration on this build was set up still on the external map sensor and not the internal one that I needed set up to on the ECU. And it was actually pulling reference from the fuel gauge that I had set up, because the fuel gauge, I had 2 in the beginning. I had a fuel gauge in the front of the car and a fuel gauge in the back of the car. Well, I burned out the fuel gauge in the front of the car because I was using a 12-volt reference instead of a 5-volt reference, so that got burnt out. And so then I went to go switch it to the rear one and just, reassign. You can reassign those pin locations inside the ESP software for the Haltech. So I reassigned those to the front, and then I had all these map alarms coming in. So by dumb luck, I discovered that my map wasn't set up right. So once I got that all set up right, the pinging went away. My boost was working the way it was supposed to. And the fuel delivery for the EFI was delivering the way it was supposed to as well. So all that's been fixed, and hopefully, I don't think I've caused any issues or damage, because I didn't really get onto it. I didn't really go too crazy with the new turbo motor. But time will tell. Time will tell. Hey, Brian, what's going on, buddy? Let's see what we got here. Hey, guys, as a reminder, don't forget to get down there and hit that like down in the bottom of the video. And, yeah, if you have any more questions, post them to the chat. We're going to get into some questions here in a second, because some of you guys did have some questions, and I got to get through this live feed because I'm going to the movies tonight. I'm going to go see Top Gun with the boys. Yeah, Top Gun with the guys. Let's see. Hi, Jason. Are you going to raise the rear end? Oh, yeah, it's been raised. Hold on a second. I got a picture I'll show you guys. Let me bring you over to it. I changed out the tires on the rear end from the 50 series. You know, the 50 series when you got the 205, 50, R15. Well, I had 50 series, and now I'm running 205, 65, R15, which is giving me a little bit more height. And let me show you guys what we got here. Back to screen number 1. So right here is the bigger tire, which is definitely raised up the rear end for sure. Let me see. And right here is a better shot of kind of like what we're looking at. Zoom it in, man. Zoom it in. Yeah, right here you can see it looks like I would probably hit my fender if I were to like hit some bumps, but actually the tire goes inside. It just looks kind of funny from here. And I've cleaned all this junk off there already too. So all that crap that was on here from putting the new tires on, it's been cleaned off. And this gives me more of like what I think the rake that I want. I have not tried to do a burnout yet with these Meteor tires, but that's going to be coming for sure. Yeah, the height is quite a bit better, and it's giving me about another 2 inches of space from the bottom of the oil sump, which is my main concern was that. So that's been fixed. That's been fixed. So now that I've got all my sensors worked out, I don't think I have any more sensors to work. Well, my O2 sensors. I've got 2 modules on my setup on my turbo build. Each one of my cylinders I've got an O2 sensor on, so that'll help with tuning, help with troubleshooting too when it comes to understanding if I have a cylinder or one injector maybe is getting kind of clogged and it's causing some issues on the O2 sensor. I should see that there first, and it'll let me know if I need to pull the injectors to clean them. Plus, if I have any other kind of issues, maybe going bad with a cylinder, I should see that in the O2 sensor first. Well, the first module, the first O2 WB2 module, is reporting correctly back to the ECU. The second one, which I have in daisy chain, you can take the 2 modules and then put them in daisy chain, isn't reporting back correctly, and I didn't know if that was because I had to update my firmware. So I just recently updated the firmware to the latest version on the Haltech Elite, and I'm gonna go back and rehook up that daisy chain in between the two and see if it starts to report now. And I got to go in there and add the module and add that second WB2 in the ESP software. And once I get that done, I should be reporting on all 4 cylinders, and then it's time to dyno, baby. It's time to go to the dyno and get my tune sorted out. And then we can start running E85 and see what we can really do with this thing. So, all right. Carl's got a question. So what compression ratio are you running? Cam specs and rockers. My 1835 is running a Ericsson Racing cam. I got a DRD cam in there. I think it's a 320. It's a 320 cam. Pretty sure that's correct. I'll put it in the description of this video, guys. Kind of break down the details. The 2287 motor with a 9-to-1 compression. I'm pretty sure it's a 320 or 302 DRD cam. I got DRD heads. It's got the WedgeMate 86 crank with Chevy rods and VW journals. Let me think what else it's got. I'm running a Kennedy Stage 2 pressure plate, which has been holding up pretty good so far, but I haven't tried to max out on the horsepower. We're sticking around the 250 to 300 horsepower is kind of the range that I think will be manageable. The manageable range. All right. Duration on lift, I'm not sure. I've got the plus I got the Potter rockers. I'm running the 1-to-4 Potter rockers in my build, the roller rockers. So yeah, a lot of good stuff, and I have not spun her up yet when it comes to the RPMs. I'm waiting to get in the Haltech module. I tried an off-brand module for when it comes to converting the square wave output from the ECU to a normal wave output that you would get from like a coil on my tach, because I want to be able to see my RPM range showing up on my tach before I start getting too crazy. So I've probably been around 5,000 RPMs, 6,000 RPMs, but with the 1-to-4 ratio rockers and this motor, I should be able to push 7,000, no problem. So, J. Alex, what you got, man? Let's see, you got a question. What made me want to do this build? The motor is one of a kind, especially in looks. What made me want to do the build? Well, what made me want to do the build is when I saw it. I saw this motor in my buddy's car. In the when I saw it, my first question was, of course, when you see something like that, is like, would you ever sell it? Would you ever sell it, or is it for sale? And it was for sale. So worked out all the specifics of gathering the funds together over some time, and I think it was about a year that went by before I actually bought the motor from him, and then started the build, started the whole conversion. I'm gonna put a video out too pretty soon, guys, that kind of like goes A to Z on the turbo build from the very beginning to the very end. So that way, I know there's a lot of interest out there. A lot of guys on Instagram have asked me too about how long it took me to do the build, or just to get it ready from my 2276, the General. That was just an NA, naturally aspirated motor with the Weber 44s to the turbo build. It took me about a year to get everything done. Most of that was because of just time, because there's a lot of time that goes in between, and with all that time of just waiting for parts to get ready, you guys know I had the transmission difficulties where I sent it off to a local shop to have some work done, and that didn't turn out so great, and I ended up having to ship it off to Dave Foltz. But all in all, that turnaround from sending it off to California and getting it back was actually faster than the time that it was sitting in that other shop's garage. So the but then, there's just troubleshooting, all the little things that you deal with when you're doing a build like this, or this complex of a build. There's things that you run into. So, hey, Brian, what you got, man? He's making 302 horsepower from a turbo on a 2776. So if you could get some high numbers on the rolling road. Is that 302 at the flywheel or 302 at the wheels? Because I know that this motor on E85, they did a couple passes and they tuned it to about 320, 306 or 320 at the wheels. I don't know what the horsepower was at the flywheel though. I know that you probably lose about 100 horsepower through the drivetrain. So I'm not sure what it's gonna do once we go back there and we retune it and see what she does. So, all right, guys. So time to move to some of the questions from you when it comes to the website. You guys do know that you can go over to JWClassicVW.com and post your questions there, plus through the Facebook group. I like it when people post questions in the Facebook group because we've got over 2,000 members in the Facebook group, and I'm not always available, or I might not know the answer to the question, but it's good to get some information from everybody out there in the VW community. That's one of the best things about the Facebook group. There are some Facebook groups out there that are not always positive in their advice providing. I would say they've got that Samba kind of like mindset where it's hit or miss. You get some good advice, or you've got those guys out there that are sitting behind their keyboard or with their phone, and all they can do is criticize somebody that happens to have questions. And in our Facebook group, in the JWClassicVW Facebook group, that crap is not tolerated, man. Not one bit. If you got negative stuff to say to somebody about their build, whatever it is, because I don't care. If you're a purist to somebody that's gone gonzo and done some rat rod build, you can bring your love for your car into our group, and for the most part, from what I've seen, is it's all positive, man. People are in there just to give advice, just to help out, or if you got questions, if you got you're stumped on something, that's just the mindset that I have. It's all good, man. That was the whole point of like VWs, and kind of like the way I grew up anyway, is that there's some simplistic. You want to tear off the body and throw a rail, build a rail out of it, or if you just want to cut it up and do whatever you want, man. It's up to you. There are some cars out there like mine. Like I believe me, guys. I've heard from the purists on my car that that's just too much. It's too much for a Volkswagen. Why? Which Facebook group? Oh, it's JWClassicVW Facebook group, man. It's yeah, you just search JWClassicVW on Facebook and you'll find the group. The purists out there definitely have their criticisms, and I've also seen in some of the 356 Porsche groups that they're real interested in the motor as well, but they're all about like, well, how much usable horsepower is there? I'm gonna tell you what. So far with my motor, and I would say straightaways, I'm not trying to do any rally racing or anything like that with it, but she handles pretty well, and I'm sure there's a limitation on how much power, but that's all about what you do to build your vehicle, your VW, to be able to handle that power. I've done a whole lot of rear suspension work to get this to where it can handle that 300 plus horsepower. And honestly, the most that I'll probably try to push it to get it tuned at is just 300 horsepower, and just 300 is 300 horsepower, because I think that's where I'll have the most fun with my car. So, all right, guys, moving on to the questions from you. And one of the first questions that I've had is, and because it comes in different kind of formats, is the deck lid standoffs. You guys know how it's getting hot outside, and so there's a lot of questions coming about different ways to keep your VW cooled. And so I've had some questions about whether or not it's a good idea to put the standoffs on your deck lid. Now, I've got some buddies out there that do run the standoffs on their deck lid, and I don't think there's any problem with it. I do think it probably brings more fresh air in if you've got a bigger motor build. Now, if you've got like a stock setup, Hey, what's going on, Hectic Garage? Brent, how you doing, buddy? Stopping in to say hi. Oh, I appreciate it, man. It's she's coming along. She's coming along. But back to the subject of the deck lid standoffs. So, if you've got a bigger motor with dual carbs, I think it does help out some when it comes to getting more fresh air in there. Now, the reason why I kind of like the idea of keeping it, with no standoffs or having that stock appearance is because I kind of like that stock appearance. I like the idea of the sleeper look. And predominantly, if you're not a VW nut, you're not gonna know what you're pulling up next to when it comes to it, and they're probably not gonna understand what the standoffs are either. But I kind of just like the body flow when you don't have the standoffs on there. But if you want to run standoffs, and it's something that you like the look of, then go for it. If you are running a stock setup, though, if you're running like a stock 1600 or a single type carb, the truth is you don't need it. If you have your tins in place and everything is cooling correctly, timing is right, because timing's a big deal when it comes to how hot your engine's running. Like if you have it too far retarded or too far advanced when it comes to your timing, that could cause some overheating issues. Your spark plugs, your gap on your spark plugs, if you've got those gapped incorrectly, that can cause some overheating issues. If you've got poor compression, if say you need a rebuild, that can cause some overheating too, because if you don't have proper compression, your engine's going to overwork to try to get you around, But the biggest deal is your seals in your engine area, and are you keeping the hot area, which is below your engine, separated from the cool area, which should be inside your engine compartment? And if you have a stock setup and you're running the standoffs, sure, you can still do it, but you really don't need it, because your car should be bringing in fresh air through the vents on the back side of the car. The whole idea behind the stock setup. But if you are in a bigger power engine and you need more air in there, then I don't see any problem with it. So, all right, what we got here? Got some more questions. Mark, what you got, man? How do I like the stiffer rear torsion bars? Oh yeah, buddy, I like them a lot. It's a rougher ride. I would say, like, moving from the stock torsion bars to the stiffer ones from Sway Away, and my 5-speed Berg transmission, she is a race car now. I would say some of the stiffness may go away, but I also have the Ron Loomis Racing rear shocks, which have the adjuster on there, so you can kind of adjust it. And I have it about at the halfway point right now, because I just wanted it stiffer, because whenever I get into it, man, the rear just kind of tucks in and goes. So I'm trying to find that happy place where it can handle the power for, the suspension is tuned correctly to the motor. But dude, I don't like it. I like it, but that's the whole point. I was trying to build myself a car that was more of a race car, and you kind of expect to feel more of the road with that. It's not just a cruise around town car to where you want a little bit more give back there, but it's stiff. It's stiff. I haven't had anybody in the back seat yet, because I don't have a back seat in there yet. But we'll see how it kind of handles, and how much kind of like lower it sits once I have a few people in the back of the car. So, all right, we got some other questions. All right, if you like the standoff look, that's what you like. Yeah, sure. If you like the look, go for it, man. It's all what you like. If that's for you, then do it. And do it. I like every kind of VW that I see. I don't care if it's torn up and torn apart, because at least it's out on the road and you're driving it, and that's the same. If you love your car, you love your car, and I like seeing any of them, because yeah, Goose is all done up to the nines, but I've had 4 or 5 different VWs in my life, and they have not all looked like that. I remember my very first VW was my first car. Was a hodgepodge of car parts thrown together. I don't even know how many different VWs are in there, because I would just go to the junkyard, and when you're a kid that don't know much about cars, you're just kind of picking parts. You see a VW, you're like, hey, let me see if that's got parts. I wasn't looking for gear specific. I was looking for one that had stuff I needed, and I needed everything. So I just kind of threw stuff together and built my first car, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. That thing never ran right. It never had a reverse gear. So you know it's that put your left foot out the door reverse gear, you know, Flintstone style. And then I don't know how many times we push start it to get that thing to get going, but that was part of what built the love for the car and why I'm still into him today. So let's see what we got here. Let's go. I like the standoff sets from Eva Resto. Oh, is those the ones that are like, you know, you can kind of notch it out if you want to? I've seen a couple different people make those to where the standoff you can actually, you know, pull it out, pull up the deck lid, notch it back, and then you can get the standoff look, or you can just bring it back down and get the normal look, which that's kind of cool. They're pretty nice. If you want to go ahead and drop some info, like after the video, put a comment in there with a link to those. That'd be kind of cool because I'm sure guys are going to be interested in that. All right. Now for one of the controversial topics we got here. The intercooler location, and is it cooling well? Well, based off my air temps so far, I would say that it's hard to say. It's getting warm, and I would say the fans are helping a little bit, but they're definitely not putting the volume of air that I want to come across that intercooler. I really don't know if, you know, once I get the tune done, we'll have a better idea of what the temperatures are going to be, because it's got to get tuned first, because the tune is going to kind of level off some of the temps, you know, get more fuel in when we need to get more fuel in, and then I'll have a better idea of what the operating temps are on the intercooler and whether or not I got some work to do. But my guess is I'm going to want a lot more airflow, and I've already coming up with ideas on different ways I can mount fans and you know, get more air down there. So we'll see. The location I like. Of course, I love the look too, because, you know, it's unique. But sometimes, you know how it is, guys. You design and kind of like the aesthetics are not always the best engineering when it comes to how things are cooled. So we'll see. Got some work to do. Plus, you know, with me wanting to keep my deck lid closed, that's going to introduce probably more heat into the engine compartment. So we're going to have to see how we're going to manage that, and we'll work it out. That's part of this whole process is figuring out how to do things and get it to look the way that I want it to look. There may be some sacrifices. Hopefully it's not in metal from my car. We'll see. All right, what else we got? We got some questions. Oh, the pinging, I already kind of addressed the pinging, and that was due to the manifold absolute pressure, the MAP sensor having to be kind of like reconfigured in the ECU. So once the video is done, if you just joined in and you were going to ask questions about that, then that information will be in the video if you just go back and watch it, guys. All right. Building a monster. Okay. Oh, building a motor. I've had some questions about, let's say, a couple of my videos I put out like documents, right? And people are curious about documents and where to find them. And if you're part of the Facebook group, if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, JWClassicVW on Facebook, there's the files section in the Facebook group, and I have all kinds of documents that, you know, for tuning carburetors to you know, when I did my first build, the 2276, you know, the General, when I did that build, I had an Excel spreadsheet, and you can go ahead and find that there as well. Plus, there's a bunch of other documents in there when it comes to just good stuff, good reference information. Say hi, Micah. You're on camera. Getting video bombed by the kiddos. All right, let's see. And the last question I had from somebody on the website was to you know, some of the most common overheating things, and we kind of covered that a little bit in here. I would say first is make sure that your seals are in place. Make sure that all your tins are in place, especially if you have a stock configuration, which most of us out there probably do. And if you're not sure what tins you need to have, then that's a whole nother question. That's a whole nother thing. Let me see if I can get over to the other screen and kind of show you guys where it'd be a good place to go and check that out. Let me see. I'm going to get this up on here and then bring you guys over and show you the website that should help you out. And you could just search also too, like VW tins, and that would probably be a good way to go as well. And let's see, this is a good website too, because let's say if you're running like some hold on a second. Mark, I'll get back to your questions here in a second, buddy. The if you're running like header system instead of, like, you say you got rid of your heater boxes and you're running headers now instead, or some J tubes, some of your tins will be missing, and this will help out with that as well. Let me see, where is it at? I have like 1,000 million different web pages on here. And I'll probably drop this link into the video description as well, so you guys can check that out. Oh, there's so many. Well, I'm just gonna drop it in the link, guys. But industrial tins. Industrial tins kind of like take the place of what would be kind of closing off the bottom of your engine when it comes to removing your heater boxes, and that's kind of important because what it does is it channels the hot air out the back of your VW. So when it goes to overheating issues, your seals, gotta make sure your seals are good. They can't be dry rotted and stuff, man. You gotta have some good pliable seals in there that seal well against your tins. And all your tins, you gotta make sure you got all your tins in there. So like, let's say you've got the doghouse cooler. Instead of the standard just like flat back on your air channel, on the shroud up there, you've got like a bubble out the back side, which is kind of like, encompasses the doghouse cooler. Well, there's supposed to be a channel that channels the hot air from that doghouse cooler out the back side of your front tin, right? I think that's right. The front tin out the back side of your engine. Well, a lot of guys are missing that. I don't know how many times I've seen that. Oh, Jay, I'm having overheating issues with my cooler. I'm like, what kind do you have? He's like, the doghouse cooler. Well, do you have the tin on the back side? Because if you don't have the tin on the back side that channels that hot air out of your engine compartment, that can cause some issues. So let me get back to these questions. Take a look. Let's see. Mark, you said you're setting up the Haltech wiring sensors was impressive. I don't have that experience, so I went with the Redline Weber setup. Oh yeah, Redline is the I've seen that setup too. Who has that setup? There's some engine builders out there that run the Redline EFI. I don't know how complicated it is either, but what ECU? Do they have their own ECU that they run as well? I haven't looked into that, but that's cool. That's cool. I have experience with wiring just from my telecom background, and I was a mechanic in the military too, so I got a little background there. But you can figure anything out, guys. It's just a matter of taking your time, working your way through. Like, even with my background, I got it all together. Like, I still had some sensor issues. It's just a matter of take your time, and you'll work through it. Believe me. And it's just, you take one thing at a time. When you look at like the whole picture of an EFI turbo build, it's a lot. Yeah, and I'm sure it can be a little intimidating, but you just kind of set it off into modules, and you kind of decide how I'm going to break this up and what, where it makes sense to start the build. And then you just work your way through it. And sometimes you're going to jack stuff up. Sometimes you're going to do things the wrong way, but then you just go back and kind of like, fix it, and you'll be fine. Let's see. Let's go. Let's see. Also, did Daryl tell you why? Why? I'm not sure what that means, man. Why he put the diverter valve on the opposite side of the throttle? Oh, the BOV, the blow-off valve. He just, the design. This is the way he thought that it would work, and it does work. It works fine. If you guys could hear it now, I'm gonna play my next video that I released, kind of like driving around and testing out that Draggy app. If you guys don't know about the Draggy app, let me show you that real quick. Dun, dun, dun. Let me see. I had this whole plan, guys, to have this all kind of set up and organized ahead of time. But let me bring you over to screen number 1 again. This is the Draggy app, and all this is a little module that's got a magnet on it, and it goes off a GPS, and it can track all your times. And let's see, did I have my times on here? Oh, there's a picture of me. And this has all the times. Like, you see how it breaks down your 0 to 30. 0 to 60, 1/8 time. Like, I did this today. I was taking my kid to Powerhouse. Yeah, Mark, that's right. Powerhouse uses the Redline EFI to swim, and we just went ahead, and it was his first drive, and yes, it's kid approved. The Turbo EFI is kid approved. He liked it a lot. He's like, that's pretty fast, Dad, and we kind of missed the gear too when we were doing it. You guys want to see that video? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick and show you guys that video. Let me see if I can jump through it. You guys see the video okay? I don't know if we can hear the audio or not. Let me see if I can jump to that. This guy's, is this it right here? Yeah, we'll go from here. This is one of the stoplights near the house. Hey, Cal, are you watching this still? No?
Yeah. What?
You guys hear the audio for this? Let me know if you hear the audio. I'm bringing in the desktop audio, guys. Let me tell you. Tell me if you can hear it in the chat. Can you hear everything okay? Can you hear me though? You can? Okay. Cool. Alright guys, coming back to the main screen. Let me go ahead and cut the audio on this video. Cool. So you can hear it. When's my kid gonna be driving my car? Are you guys serious? Come on, man. Come on, man. Not anytime soon. He's still learning how to drive a standard. He gets his license in October, and he's got a Volkswagen too, but it's a Jetta, not a Beetle. And he's learning how to drive that standard. Once he gets proficient in that, maybe we'll talk about it. But the Berg 5-speed transmission's a little. It's got some tricks to it, man. It's got some tricks to it. Alright, let me take down this desktop audio. Get back to this. Okay, guys. And that's it. That's it for questions today. And that's it for the live feed. I want you guys to make sure that you are heading over to the Facebook group and submitting some questions if you have for the live feed. We're going to start doing this every week. And hopefully, my experience with the OBS software will get better. You're going to break the back. Yes, I am. Those seats are bound for the garage somewhere else other than the car. I've got some different seats I'm looking at when it comes to the setup in the Beetle, and I just gotta get them. Gotta get them, guys. Enjoy the movie. Yeah, gonna go to the movies. Going to go see Top Gun, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. I hope you enjoyed the live stream this time. We didn't have as many technical difficulties. I've been playing with the OBS software, getting better at that, and I hope to see you guys soon. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave you at the end here with some fun, the intro video. See you guys next time. This is Jason, and have a great weekend. Get out there and work on your cars, guys. Zoom time. Zoom time. I totally drive that exhaust. Sorry, Daryl. Didn't mean to, but. Alright, guys. Have a great weekend.